Hi, Crafty Friends, and welcome to September's Mystery Swap Challenge. My friend Carrie Rhoades and I from carriestamps.com, we get together once a month. Well, we try once a month. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. We get together and send each other packages full of some supplies, and we don't know what we're sending, so that's the mystery part of it. And then we are challenged to create something with the products that we send each other and then the products that we've also sent. So this month our theme was fall. Very appropriate. So, with the goodies that I received and with the goodies that I sent, I created 3 separate shaker cards this month. And let's get into it. It's always fun getting a package in the mail, right, ladies and gentlemen? I don't want to leave the guys out. So, as always, I got some pretty cool things from Carrie. These wooden frames are called DIY hoops, and they're from Spellbinders. And she sent 4 different ones in 2 different sizes. And then I got some twine, and also the paper is from Spellbinders, and it's called Fall-O-Ween. And then we got some fun Stampers Journey hearts and stars wooden buttons. And then, as always, she sends me a cute little card. Oh, and I have to go back to the sequins. The sequins were included, and Goofball Me actually forgot to put them in, so I apologize for that, Carrie. But I had some other projects that I already have planned kind of around the color in order to make up for not putting them into this project. That was just, I don't know, one of those moments. And okay, so all of that was included in my package from Carrie. And then did you happen to see that sentiment in the beautiful shaker card that she sent? It says crafting comes before housework in the dictionary, as it should. And that is quite evident in my household this summer. I've been doing quite a bit of crafting. This month I did things a little bit different with my video. I went ahead and did my card first. And it was only because when I started picking my stamp sets, I end up using them for all of the cards today. And so I colored them all up, and I used a lot of them on this first card. So I just kind of wanted to go this way. As you can see, I just sent a variety of fall different colors, pattern papers, and cardstocks. Most of this was just in my stash, and I thought it was pretty. I know I sent a lot, but I knew, or I was hoping, that Carrie could use it in other projects or her kids could use it, whatever. It was just I wanted to share it. I cut each 12 by 12 in half and kept half for me and sent the other half to Carrie. I used several different stamp sets for these cards. The first is from Sugar Pea Designs, Easily Amoosed. And then I used Fall Fox from Sugar Pea Design as well. And then I used Jump for Joy from Lawn Fawn. And also Lawn Fawn's Tree Before and Afters. And I also used the new set from Trinity Stamps. They're die cuts that are called The Great Outdoors Borders and Builders. I used the tree actually from there, one of the trees, and the little leaves as well. Now for my coloring, I'm going to speed it up quite a bit because there is a lot of coloring actually in this card. So you can see that I left all of the caps on the top of the screen so you can see what I used. And I will eventually get a blog post out with all of those colors written there for you as well. So I colored all of the foxes. That never sounds right, but I do believe that it is foxes, but it doesn't sound right, does it? Well, anyway, I colored them all the same way. Their fur. I experimented actually and finally came up with a combination that I liked, which was E01, YR12, YR18, and E08. I just wanted to make sure that you had those colors because, like I said, I did a lot of trial and error to come up with a combination that I liked for the fox color. Fox is, here we are again. Okay, and moving on. So this theme, fall. I absolutely love a fall theme. Summer is definitely my favorite season as far as weather because I like to be hot. I tend to be cold all the time. Like I am bundled. You can see me in a lot of my videos. I have long sleeve on all summer long. I am bundled often in sweatshirts and socks and fuzzy PJs. That is just me. I don't like to be cold. But fall, however, has definitely the prettiest color scheme. So I love to decorate the house for fall. I love the fall scent, so I have candles going in the fall. I like to just even put some cinnamon boiling sometimes. I just like the scents and the smells of and the colors of fall. So I enjoyed this card immensely, these cards actually. All of the colors make me super duper happy. I even love pumpkins and gourds. I really just truly love everything fall. It's fun to rake the leaves. Um, Baking more because I love harvesting the zucchinis and doing lots of zucchini noodles or zoodles is what they call them. Anything, just, yeah, anything fall. And I am a pumpkin spice girl. Yep, I am one of those types. I know that yeah, sometimes people get annoyed with the pumpkin spice people, but I am totally a pumpkin spice lover. I will do everything. Matter of fact, I even just saw some pumpkin spice that you can, like the color for your hair. And I'm like, I'm all about that. I'm totally talking to my hairdresser and I want some pumpkin spice hair. All right. So as you can see, I am doing pretty simple coloring with these images. The smaller images are always a little hard to get too detailed in the coloring. I'm doing a tri-color scheme on each of the parts of the images. Just the lighter, the darker, the lighter, or the medium, and then back to light again. But pretty simple. And I do like the way it came out. I try to keep with a lot of the fall colors. I did put the blue in there as well, but that works with the sky. And if, as you can see, sometimes you'll see me using my colorless blender just to push back some of that ink if anything leaked out of the line a little bit. I just push that back and make it look all better. And just a little bit more chatting that I will do with you. But today was the last day of our season at our takeout restaurant that we own, our clam shop, which is nice. It is done and over with. No more onion ring making for me this summer. They're finishing up cleaning up right now, and then we are closed. And tomorrow, it being Labor Day here in the U.S., it will be the first day. And my husband decided to close early this year. I mean, COVID has changed everything up, and we're reevaluating a lot of our priorities, and so he has closed a little bit more this summer to spend more time with myself and the kids. So tomorrow on Labor Day will be the first Labor Day that he has ever been off in 16 years. So ever since he's been a dad, he's worked every Labor Day because, being in the restaurant business, you do generally work all the holidays, and we're only seasonal, so we have a very short season anyway. But anyway, so I'm pretty excited. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we're just going to be together and do it together. And as like Mother's Day this year, he was also closed, and that was my first time being a mother and being with my husband and my kids. So that was nice. Anyway, so we can get back to the card. I was just filling you in a little bit of our excitement. For the background, I sent Carrie some of these lawn fawns. It's called the Small Slim Line with Lift the Flaps. So I sent her several different choices of those. I went ahead and used the craft one, and right now I'm just inking up a background that I made that matches it exactly in measurement, and I'm just making a sky with a template that I created myself, and you'll see me in a lot of my videos. I use this often, and it's just from the Lawn Fawn Stitch Clouds, and I just use it just like any stencil that you can use. And it works fine. So here I'm just gonna start kind of measuring it, and I do mark my lines a little bit just so I can see where I wanted that sky to end up and make sure that I still had some room for a ground. So that's all I did there, was just use some pencil marks. And I'm using Stormy Sky for my Distress Oxide ink for my sky. I wanted something that definitely looked a little fall-like, that overcast look, especially here in northern Maine that we get. And today was one of those days already. It's starting to feel very fall-like here. We have a very, very short summer, and maybe that's why I like the weather, because I can appreciate it. We did have a warmer summer than normal, but it's still just not enough for me. I want the 90s back. That's, yeah, just me. So now I'm gonna add some grass. I tried to do this with the grass template just like I do with my sky, but no, it didn't really work out that well. So I was like, huh, yeah, no. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in. I'm just gonna grab a brush and fill it in. I started using the round brush, but as you can see, kind of didn't really work out that well. It was a little bit dark. It's a little bit, maybe the paper's a little toothier than the Nina 110 or the 80-pound cardstock that I use sometimes. So it just was taking to the ink a little bit differently. So I used one of the Picket Fence Studios, the Perfect Blending Brush, I think that's what they're called. And I just used one of the small ones that I had. And here I'm using my trick of laying down a piece of acetate just to make sure that that stamp was on even, and before I went ahead and put it onto my project. And then I've used my Misty, which so I can do it a couple times. I love the Misty. I'm not a great stamper, so having that tool is probably one of the best things for me personally. Sometimes I, 3, 4 times to get something right, but that's what the Misty's for. I just cut a piece of acetate slightly smaller than the lift flaps panel, and I'm just gluing that down because I am going to make this into a shaker card. So I needed to have that barrier right there between the two panels. Let me backtrack a little bit about my background. For the ground, I did use a forest moss color. I was trying to just make it a little bit darker than my usual like mowed lawn or whatever. I just, again, that whole autumn muted color look. And then I realized that I didn't do the flaps. So I needed to go back and make those look like my background inside the card. So I just purple taped that off, and I had to be very super careful taking that off because I know purple tape is supposed to be less tacky and easier to remove, but sometimes it can cause damage. So I was just super careful. I'm not sure, I guess I could have probably put some paper or something and made that a little bit easier on myself, but I worked it all out. And as you can see, I cut all of my images after I colored them out with my brother's Scan and Cut. And so now I'm just playing around with the placement of them. And now it's time to make the chamber for the shaker parts. And so I'm just using my double-sided foam tape, and I double that up. I bend it on top of each other, and then I cut it to the dimensions that I need. I just measure it and then cut it, and it tears and cuts really easily. And you can see right there, it's just snip it right in half. So I have that all down, and now I'm using a static tool, a powder tool, to go around the edges before I take off the tape. And that way the bits don't stick to the sticky edges. And now I'm just filling it with a little Flour Soft and some beads and sequency things that I had laying around in my stash. And now this is where I was supposed to, or was going to, add the sequins from Carrie that she sent me. And silly me completely forgot to add it. I forgot to add it into all the shakers, but I also added some of the leaves that I had prepared, that I colored, so I just wanted a little bit extra added interest. And now I'm just squeezing around the edges. I had to make sure that none of the beads, because of the static electricity, the beads kind of get on that sticky and stuff, so I squeezed those together so nothing would seep out. And you can see a little bit too much glitter. Maybe I shouldn't have put that on. I did try to do the dryer sheet trick, and I think that I should have probably just in the future use a dryer sheet that's already used, not one that's new, because I was afraid that I was going to scratch the acetate, so I was kind of over gentle with it. So I think I should have used a used one and been a little bit more aggressive with that. And now I just picked a panel from one of the papers that I had sent to Carrie and used the largest frame die from Lawn Fawn's large slimline with sliders set. I've been actually that's been my go-to a lot lately. It's a very versatile die to have in your collection. And now I just mounted everything onto a piece of craft cardstock for my card base, and I'm just going to decorate the inside a bit. And I'm using the white gel pen to just highlight some of my um, stamps, my colored in stamps, just for a little bit more dimension. And there we have it, the card that I made with the stuff that I sent to Carrie. And that's what I came up with. I can't wait to see what she comes up with. I love the fall theme, like I said. So, and there's the inside. Just kind of simple, and I leave it so you can write a note. So now I'm on to the cards that I made with the supplies that Carrie sent. I was looking at the frames and trying to figure out, what should I do with these? And then, it dawned on me, well, I'm just going to keep my theme going and I'm going to make a shaker. And at first I was like, well, like if I find some foam tape that will kind of be pliable and I could kind of wrap it around there for the dimension, but then I realized if I just stack those and layered them together, that I would have the dimension that I needed to put the stuff in for the shaker, all the beads and the sequins and glitter and stuff. So that's what I decided to do. So I wanted to use the same type of theme that I had going on with the fall and the foxes and the leaves and the pumpkins. So I just had colored up a bunch of those when I was doing it. And now I'm going to use the same craft cardstock on the back and also layer a piece of acetate onto the back of this piece. And as you can see, I just used a pencil and I traced the circle for the acetate and the background, so nothing fancy. I just traced it and then I cut it out. And now I'm going to use the same die cut that I had, or the template that I made for the clouds, and make the same type of background with the stormy sky. And then I'm going to use the forest moss again for the ground. So like I said, the same color scheme, the same type of decorations, but just two different cards, or three different cards actually, but with the same materials, which I think is kind of cool. And again, it's all those pretty fall colors. So now, oh, and yes, I used the wagon on this one, and I wanted it to not, not the white behind the wagon wheels. I needed that to blend in a little bit with the background. So I just went ahead and I touched that up with a little bit of the forest moss as well. And I use a black gel pen for all the buttons on the fox and his eyes and nose. I thought that was a little touch. So I didn't worry about the buttons at all when I was coloring it because I knew that that was a really super small space and that I was going to be able to go over that with something. And so that's what I did with all of those with the buttons. Just put a little bit of that gel pen on. Now I'm just adding the highlights again. And I did this for both or all three cards. I added highlights to the pieces. And now I'm just going to layer that up. Oh, actually, I had missed out on a little bit of that footage. I apologize. And so I had put this all together and then realized that I think I got a phone call and my video had stopped. But I just loaded up that wagon with all sorts of fun fall yummies and just kind of stuck the leaves and stuff from the sets that I had in the wagon to make it look like it was full. And then just snipped off the little bit of that tree in the background. And again, I put the acetate there to make the little window. I'm going to fill that in with all of the shaker beads and stuff that I had. And then right here, I realized that if I don't glue down, because I left a little bit of that space of the glue so I could keep tucking everything. And then a lot of times I just leave that if I'm done with a card. But then I realized that with all the shaker stuff that I better secure that a lot better. So it doesn't all get stuck in between all the pieces. So I went ahead and just added a little bit more glue, and then I put some weight of the blocks on that just when it was drying so it would dry a little bit faster and a little bit more secure. And then I filled that in with a little bit of the leaves and the beads and like that little acorn, just some little things to add a little interest to be sliding around and shaking around in there. And again, I'm using my blocks for the weight. And then there you go. I made a little tiny shaker. And so I'm going to add the twine. Well, first I'm going to fill up the shaker too. And I did the same thing. I did the acetate on that first layer. And then I used the backing and I put them together. So I put the two pieces that she sent me together so it would have that space for all the goodies. And I'm just popping that on the back. Gluing it down. And then I thought, well, this would make like cute little ornaments of some sort. So why not? We can have fall ornaments, right? So I added that twine right to the top, and I'm going to use repositional glue dots when I get to that point to adhere those to the card. Well, and right here I had gotten new embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, and this is called Night Gold. It's a shifting color. It's black and it goes to gold. And so I was experimenting. You can see I tried all different colors to see what I would think of it and what I just wanted to see how it worked. So I'm showing you all the different colors I did. And it turned out that I really liked it on the black the best because I feel like I could see that gold because it goes from black to gold depending on the lighting. And I liked the way that came out. So I used that for both of my sentiments on each of the cards. And I'm putting on that Halloween paper from Spellbinders onto the back. And it's double-sided, so the other side was really super pretty as well. But I am plaid all the way. I love everything plaid. So I was like, well, yeah, that definitely hits my heartstrings, so I'm going with the plaid side on both. So I'm just trimming that up so the sentiment fits nice in the spot that it's left. And then just a little bit more off the top. And that was just totally eyeing it. I didn't measure, as you can see. I was just like making whatever I felt looked aesthetically pleasing. Then I'm just going to tie a little bow onto this, what I'm calling my shaker autumn ornament. My husband tried to tell me there are no ornaments in autumn, but why can't there be? We can do what we want, right? So if you give this to somebody for a card, they can take that off and they can put it somewhere and have a little ornament for autumn, which like I said, I love to decorate for autumn. So I'm putting some repositional glue dots on there so they can pop that right off. And tightening up my little bow. And then I'm checking out the new honeybee glue, which comes with that little holder, or you can purchase it with the holder, which is kind of nice. I like having it upside down and ready to go always. Now I'm just going to get ready for this other card panel to get it down to the A2 size with a little bit of a border left for the craft paper base below. And you can see I did the first one with a black card base, and then I did the second one with the craft. And making my bow again. This is my tiny ornament. And see, I love the sentiment. See, we're pumpkin spice and everything nice. That is definitely what I like. Putting some more of those glue dots on. And then there's another shaker. Add that sentiment to the side. And I did get a little bit of a glue fingerprint there. So I'm just going to use a rubber eraser in a few minutes once that dries, and I can just take that right off. Now I'm decorating the little extra space there at the end or at the bottom to just make it more balanced. And of course I wanted to get those cute little heart wooden buttons, and it goes perfectly with the wooden frames. So I added that as well. I tried to actually at one point put the twine in the buttons. Yeah, it wasn't going to happen. The twine's just a little bit too thick for it, and it kept on separating it. So I went with a different route, and I just stuck those on there. I think that it looks cute like that. And there I am just taking off that little fingerprint. So yeah, see, there's no mistakes. I always say that there's no mistakes, just solutions in crafting. And I think I am a little off screen on this, so I apologize for that. Sorry. Just adding on my embellishments in there. I had fun with all those little embellishments with like the little, I guess, wheat. I think that's what that looks like, the little wheat. And then, of course, the mushrooms and all the leaves. There was a lot of fun stuff to play with in these. So in finishing up this video and the couple little bit of finishing touches on the card, I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I of course enjoyed our mystery swap again. I love seeing what she sends and what we can create, and I absolutely can't wait to see what Carrie made with the same products. So that's always fun. We do different stamp sets, so but the same basic startup part of the products, so it's going to be pretty cool to see, especially with this theme, one of my favorite themes for sure. I'm just decorating the inside of the cards. I tried to do that now because it definitely adds that little extra pop in the finished look for them. And there we go. I created 3 shaker cards for our mystery swap, and like I said, I cannot wait to see what Carrie comes up with. I appreciate everybody stopping by and listening to my chat fest today. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I was definitely chatty about all my autumn loves. And this was a long video, so I hope that you stuck with it and you learned some stuff, I hope, and enjoyed it. So thank you again so much. If you like this, I would love for you to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Make sure you go and check out Carrie too at carriestamps.com for her blog, and at Carrie Rhoades on Instagram. I'll have all of that linked at the bottom. And of course, you can find me at Katahdin Crafts. And I appreciate it. Everybody stay crafty and happy fall.